Popular SEO strategies for beginners. This is a quick guide. Welcome to the We Don't Play podcast show. Welcome to the room where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. Thank you for being here and also being part of what I would say a journey that you would love to learn and also end up earning both information, value, and most importantly, growth. This is something that I believe if you think about for the next couple of weeks to months, you could do a lot with information that you get from these conversations that we have. So I decided to create something quick so that you can listen to this and gain some information about how you can do this as a beginner if you want to think about SEO strategies for your business today. Welcome, Danielle. And thank you everyone that's coming into the room. I appreciate you. I know it's early morning for some of us in the US, and I know it's an international app, so I really appreciate you for coming here today. Okay, this is quick. I want to give you quick strategies you can take. 3. Here's the first one. One popular SEO strategy as a beginner that you can use is think about intentional searches. You know, what I normally see these days, and I've always seen this, is that when people are searching for things, they're searching with the intention of finding a result. So if you're looking for a result in the volume, you may be missing out on the intention. This is why I'm saying this. When people are searching for content, the longer that request is, or the longer the query is, the more intentional and the more factual, and definitely the more niche down it is. So if, let's say, for example, I'm looking for eggs and I want to buy eggs. Okay, eggs near me, right? You can say that. But now if you say, I'm looking for a specific type of egg that is different from the other type of egg, they're different, it's cage-free. You know, you can think about all the types of eggs that you can think of. And there are some that are good for you, there are some that are not so good for you. So it depends on what you eat, and everyone eats what they want, right? So you eat what you like. So by the time you're searching for the specific type of egg, you've added more context to that query. So you're going to get more specific results, right? And those results are going to take you to different locations or listings. So when you think about the intention, why am I saying this for SEO purposes? Any keyword that you find, whether it's on answerthepublic.com or answersocrates.com or sparktoro.com or Google Trends or Pinterest Trends or Reddit or Quora, anywhere that you look for content, even go to ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Perplexity, go to any of them, you will see them there, right? The major thing that you want to think about is the intention. Now, this is something to focus on. When there's an intention, there's going to be structure that follows it, right? So this is what you want to do as a strategy. If you say that, okay, I want people to learn about, let's say, gifts, or people want to buy shoes and they want to buy these shoes, and these are the shoes they want to buy for this person or this set of people, or they want to buy for this occasion. Now, if you sell shoes, your goal is to make sure that those shoes have value, because everyone can say, yeah, I love these shoes, but why is it sentimental to you, right? It makes me walk 5 times faster than I would normally walk with another pair of shoes. Whatever the case may be, that's going to be considerable onto your thought process and your decision. Now, when you're thinking about the person that's consuming this content, there's 2 types of purchases that happens, right? There are pre-purchases and there are post-purchases. So if I'm going to tell you about this shoe, and my intention is to find comfortable shoes to buy for Christmas, and I have a blog talking about how comfortable our top 5 shoes in our product line offer different types of experiences, that's a commercial article. That's a commercial blog. Why? Because now they're looking for best comfortable shoes to wear for Christmas. So when they get a result on Google or ChatGPT or one result finding, you're going to notice that there are articles that are going to explain that. Because the world right now, if you go to Google, if you go to all these platforms, they all factor in what I can call web links, because there are 3 layers. There's a website, there's a web page, there's a web link, right? You go to google.com, that's a website. You search for what you want, you hit a web link, right? When you click on that link, you end up on a web page. So whichever way you go around it, you're still going to end up within these 3 layers. You're going to open a new tab, you're going to search for something, you're going to find something, you're going to click on something, you're going to scroll through something, right? So if your goal is to educate, nurture, and influence, and most importantly, give value to your audience, then the popular SEO strategy as a beginner is to show the intention of why your business is going to have that impact on them because of the shoes that you have to sell to them. So if they now decide that they want to try your shoes and they want to come in and see that, that's going to be as a result of what they've seen. So if it's pre-purchase, you're talking about how to prepare for your day. You know, what types of shoes do you look for? How much time do you spend before you even go out and buy one? How do you consider it? What are the top brands out there? Or what were the shoes that were used the most this year? Or what popular, people used these specific shoes for this specific occasion? When you start doing that consistently, what you notice is that there's going to be a trend. And whenever you tag another brand on your account, that increases your own visibility. I'll give you an example. If we talk about shoes, and these shoes are, let's just say Nikes, right? Let's say you have some Nike shoes and you want to talk about this specific brand. Now, if someone somewhere is on the internet looking for this exact brand that you've talked about, this exact type that you've talked about, and you've mentioned it and you've linked it into your email, into your social media, and definitely into your website. Now, when somebody's searching on Google that's looking for this information, and you're one of the few that has that information, they're going to source yours as the way to go for them to click through. Now, what that does is that it puts your website in that map, because the only way you showed up for that result is because you had an asset within your property. In other words, the only reason why you showed up on that Google search result is because you had a web page in form of a web link that was sent to Google as an indexed page. So if you index your page through Google, because there's crawling, there's rendering, and there's indexing, right? Crawling means that the page is going to be scanned, it's going to be processed. If they approve it, you get a green check mark, and now you're indexed. So you start from page 10, page 9, page 8, page 7, all the way through page 1. Now, gone are the days when we go through pages. There's something called Web Guide that's coming. Now, Web Guide is going to be a way where you search on Google and you get results. You're going to get your 2 results first, and then you're going to drop down and get 10, which is going to give you 10 in total because there are 8 that are hidden. And then from there, you start scrolling down and you start getting some context about what you search for. Now, it's going to be a long scroll, but most times when people are searching for things, they find them within at least 30 to 50% of their first scroll. So if you know that within the first 30 to 50% of the scroll is going to let somebody make a decision, and that page has content on content on content, which is great. If you now decide to take that content and allow the person to find that relevance, the faster they're able to recognize that and the faster they're able to move, the easier it is going to be for you. Because right now with AI visibility, people are saying, oh, you don't need SEO, you need to be on AI. Yet AI depends on SEO because SEO equals structure. SEO equals engine. There's no way you can drive a car without an engine. There's no way your body can function without the organs. So that's the same way your website cannot function on servers without SEO. So SEO is the core. In other words, your site speed, how your pages load, what is the original profile that matches this website. Every year you have to pay for your website, right? You have to make sure that you've registered your website with ICANN. You can Google it. These are the things that you have to do when you have a business. You have to register your business and also, pay a certain fee every year to keep your business active. So there's so many things that as a business you want to create, which is going to get you into a point that's going to allow you to have a much better access, that's going to even give you a much better result if you decide to now do these things the way you do them based on what you want to create. So these popular search engines are very important for you to note, because today, if you don't post content out there and other people are posting content, they're the ones that will be seen, not you. So use platforms like LinkedIn, right? These are platforms that you can use that will skyrocket your content, because if you write an article on your website and you tell people to follow you on LinkedIn, now you have a link on your website that has a LinkedIn attached to it. It's a LinkedIn link attached to your website. Now that link, people can find it because when they go on LinkedIn, they'll see your content. When they go on Google, they'll see your LinkedIn page, or they'll even see your Google page, which is the tokenization of your web page, which you submitted to Google through indexing. So these are the things that will allow you to really scale. So the first thing is look at the intention, right? What is the intention behind what people are going to find from you? If your intention is to educate your audience, if your intention is to connect with your audience, build a community, if your intention is to do anything that you want to do, then those things are going to play a big role into the feedback loop, because what you give is what you receive. You can't give what you don't have. So if you're going to give the intention of telling people this is exactly what they're coming to do and this is what they're getting, then you have to fulfill that, because for someone to trust you, you have to trust yourself. Trust God, trust yourself before someone's going to trust you. So when you're able to do these things consistently, you're able to now create that loop. So be intentional, right? Use these platforms I mentioned. You can rewind this and get the websites I talked about, and start today. Find those questions, answer them. If they make sense to you, answer them. The second thing I'll say is trends. Make sure that the trends are trending. Let me say it that way. When you know a keyword is trending, then that's because of the season we're in. Just like with fruits, right? If you know it's grape season, if you know it's mango season, banana season, pomegranate season, fill in the blank season, those seasons are going to happen because of different things. Weather, it could be timing of the year. There's so many conditions that are going to play a big role. So when you look at the seasons, those seasons are based on the trends. So when you look at those trends, your trends are going to be those specific things that people are going to be searching for within those times. So if you have a business, if you have a website, if you have a social media plan, if you have a platform that you connect with people consistently, your goal as a business owner is to be intentional with your time, right? Like right now, I'm intentional with my time. I'm going to be out of here in the next few minutes because I said this is a quick guide. I'm not giving you an hour. I'm giving you less than that today because I want you to take this and run with it. I want you to take action on this. The trend. If you're able to go to Google Trends, go to Pinterest Trends. These are free platforms you can go to. I'll even give you one that you can try and check it out for yourself. Go to Glimpse and check it out for yourself and then see where these trends are coming from and where they're going. If you know that by this time last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, things were happening and people were searching for a specific topic or a specific phrase or a specific keyword, then that keyword is in season. It's a ripe season. So if your website has something that's of relevance to that season, then your link is going to show up as a result at that time. It's not going to be every time you're going to show up for the same result. There are going to be different times you're going to have different results because of what people are searching for differently. So your goal as a business owner, as a beginner, as anyone that's going to start a business is to think about what are people intentionally looking for online. I found the questions. Okay, let me take these questions and go to these platforms and see what the trend looks like. Because when you know what the trend is, it makes sense. When you think about stocks, when you think about anything, just anything, gas prices, you're going to look at the trend. You're going to know, okay, around this time, this happens. Around this time, this happens. Those trends tell you more. You're able to predict, forecast. So when you have these trends and you use these keywords and put the trends in, now it allows you to know exactly what to look for. Because when people are planning, people plan ahead of time. You don't plan for tomorrow, yesterday. You plan for tomorrow before yesterday. So by the time you're getting to tomorrow, you already have everything down pat because you can take care of what tomorrow is expecting of you. So you plan for those things consistently by planning for them ahead of time. So why am I saying this? If I know by March 2026, things are going to be searched for, that my business is going to be in season for, then why not use this first quarter or this quarter that's coming, or however many months you want to put into it, is going to allow you to scale that, talk about it, index it, put it in the map, and let people see it. Right now, if you're looking for 2026 models for cars, there are companies that are putting 2026 models out there, and you're typing it in, you're going to see that model there. Very soon it's going to be 2026, God willing. And when it happens, you are the person that's going to be seen first because you've been showing up for the longest time. So that credibility is credit. That's the root word, right? So when you think about credible and being applicable to your relevant score, whether it is a trust score, a listen score, a domain authority score, a page score, or whatever score, a speed score, all these scores are going to point back to the intention, right? So if the intention was to let people know, hey, here's the best products you can use for AI generation. Okay, cool. Thank you for telling me. That's what I came for. They'll come back again and look for something else. So if it's trending, talk about it now. Plan 2-3 months ahead of time. So if you're focusing on the keywords and the trends, you'll be fine. I'm just going to give you guys an A and B. I guess there are no questions. Okay, no worries. That's good. I like that. And I think if you're listening to this, you can rewind this as well. And sometimes you're probably thinking about it, because I know we have about, 7 to 70,000 thoughts that are in our head every day. And we think about them a lot. So even though you may not be speaking, you may be thinking. And there's something I learned that you should learn, and I believe we should also learn, because we learn every day. And I really think about all the information that we think about consistently. Myron Golden said this, and this is something that I definitely have to give him credit for. And it made so much sense. And I was like, wow, this is true. I don't know if he got it from someone else or it was him that said it, but either way, it makes sense. And I'll say it too so that you can hear it as well. You can speak without talking, but you can't think without words. I'll say it again. You can speak without talking, but you can't think without words. So if you can't think without words, then the words that you're using to think is what's going to make you talk. So if you're thinking about what intentionally you want people to find you for in 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, and beyond, your content would need to have that positioning so that 24 months from now, you're still relevant to people who are in that same season looking for the same thing they looked for last year and the previous year. So it's really up to you to decide how you want your business to thrive in 2026. So popular SEO strategies: number one, focus on the keywords and the intention of those keywords, right? And then bring those keywords from your database into your platform, which is your website. And then from there, you now take that from your website and then create content so that your website is generating that information. You don't leave it there. You put it on your website, you go to social media, you go to your emails, you go to connect with people in the community. You're able to build that, because people are not just going to come to your website because you have something new to talk about or to post. You have to bring them there. That's why it's called an attraction, right? You're attracting them to your content. You're attracting them to your information. The same way you're here listening to this is because you're attracted to the topic. So the same way you attract others to your confirmation that what you thought about is what people need, then that goes to resemble into how you're able to feed them consistently when you give them content that they can actually search for and find. Pierre, how have you been? Long time. Happy December. Any thoughts on the topic? And what brought you to the room today?
Hey, good morning. Just basically hanging out while writing more than anything else. Happy holidays, Favor. Um, Real quick on I think you brought up a good point about intent. People are hearing more and more about AI or AEO. I know that you talk about this quite a bit. It's pretty much an offshoot of SEO. It's pretty much SEO for all intents and purposes. Most people hear it as if it's something different, but it's really not. And the tying link for it between AEO and SEO is what you just mentioned about intent. Um, Intent has been a strategy within SEO for a long time. It was a way to kind of build on top, to go beyond keywords and start talking a little bit more about why, when do you need a particular product or service? Talk a little bit more about context of when that product and service is being looked for. So, for example, real quick example, if I can give this favor. You can, if you're looking for apple pie, the person who's looking for apple pie ingredients will be a little different than someone who's looking for the nearest bakery with apple pies and it's stock ready to go. Those sort of additional words around apple pie is pretty much intent. Imagining what your customers are intending to do. What AI has search has done in the last year or two since we've had AI brought on board is that you now have effectively a more advanced search engine which looks at it looks at your content just like a regular search engine, but then when it's returning results, it may return portions of that content as to the person who's looking for it. It can return. It's a way of kind of getting discovered online, just like a regular search engine. But you have now something that basically looks at more content around the web page and more intent. So what does that mean for you? You have to actually. Oh, sorry, got distracted. I had an email real quick. You have to actually really focus on intent when you're planning your content on your web pages, your apps, and anywhere that you really are doing any writing, because AI is being used as part of search these days, and these are the things that you have to plan for. So definitely listen to Favor. Definitely listen to anyone in SEO who's talking about intention. And I would say don't get too intimidated by the switch over with AI. A lot of the practices right now, a lot of the best practices may sound different, but the reality is that they aren't any different than what you should be doing, which is planning your intent. So, Favor, I'm going to stop there. I don't want to hog up the the platform for you. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Pierre. That's very important. You know, when I think about AI visibility and AEO, you just mentioned it earlier, and it got me thinking about a meeting I had with a client yesterday. We were talking about, visibility and how to, build out a strategy that would allow us to still maintain that relevance. And he was like, okay, we need AEO for this. And I said, okay, when someone says that, in my mind, they've separated AEO from SEO most times or more often than not, because when someone hears AEO, they're like, okay, that's answer engine optimization. That has nothing to do with SEO. Yet everything about SEO is the backbone of AEO. So I love that you mentioned that, because AEO is just a cosmetic of SEO. Any other AIO or SXO, there's so many out there that you can hear, and you're like, okay, what are all these key terms? I just want to get my website. I just want to get my business out there. I just want results. I just want to make an impact. I just want to do things in a very simple way. That's what people want. They don't want to hear all these abbreviations and all these, namings, which is great. But if it doesn't make sense to them, then how can you make sense of it so that it makes sense to them? And that's where using AI visibility comes to play, where you create content that makes the intention for someone to find it. Now, you mentioned apple pie, and I want to use this as an example so that we can also look into this. And before I go any further, just wanted to welcome you, Sunny. Daniel, I see you as well. I've Sachin, I hope I said it correctly. James, Michael, and Steve, thank you for being here and thank you for your time today. Appreciate you for listening to this conversation as well. You mentioned apple pie. I want to talk about this. And hey, Fallon, you mentioned apple pie, and I went to DeepSeek and I typed in apple pie. So I'm going to tell you what I found. I went into DeepSeek, I just typed apple pie and I hit search. And then I got the response, traditional and classic apple pie guide. You know, apple pie is a beloved dessert with rich history and many delicious variations. And here's a breakdown. It gave me the whole breakdown of apple pie. It didn't give me anything but context about apple pie. Then I now went ahead and I now started a new chat and I said where to get apple pie, right? And now it talked about what it is. It gave me the best quality shops and most convenient stores. It named a few brands, but it didn't give me links. So now and this is all going into intention, right? I now said links, please, to these addresses. And then I now got the response of saying, go to your Apple Maps or go to your Google Maps, type in this, type in this, type in this, or type in this in your city. It's giving you exactly what you're asking it for. And then it now says, okay, if you want to have direct links, here are the links. So I get the store locator links. So let's say I want to go to Trader Joe's. I click on Trader Joe's. It's giving me the link. Now I'm able to go in there. If I click on Cracker Barrel, it gives me the, results. If I go to, different results, it's going to give me different things. I see Whole Foods is there too. So you get these links and then these links take you to these websites and they've taken me not to their homepage. It's taking me to their location page. So DeepSeek has intentionally given me a web page on WholeFoods.com that allows me to find apple pie and get it because I now have a store locator page that I can look through. If I said, okay, where to get it, it would tell me where. But now that I'm asking for links, that intention has allowed me to now get links to those pages. So why am I saying this? If you have a website and your website has this type of links, whether it's a glossary or an FAQ or, blogs or product pages or ingredients or anything that's going to allow someone to make a decision executively about your product or service, that is a great angle to look at. If it talks about episodes and you talk about that apple pie in your episodes, then you're going to show up because every episode you have has something to do with apple pie. So it's really abundantly based on how you want to give people information. But like what you said, Pierre, is so intentional. So when you hear these two things I mentioned, apple pie and where to get apple pie and getting these results, what do you see and where does that fall into intention and also value exchange?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think one of the hangups that business owners run into at the very beginning is sometimes they try too hard to boil the ocean when it comes to SEO. They want to hit every keyword, everything, and that's kind of not how that works in some ways. You want to think and start with what the core start with your core offerings and what you think your customer persona is, and start thinking about what are the behaviors of purchasing your products or services. Doing that helps you to kind of make at least an initial effort, and you're going to find that no matter what you've planned out, that may alter over time. Give you an example. Many times when I started my business for analytics, I thought I would be working more with retailers, and I still do for small businesses. But a lot of people who came to me first, and I got really good success on, was content providers. People who were kind of like a baby Huffington Post, more or less, and they needed help with the analytics to figure out what articles were working for them. I had to readjust my SEO for that, and you'll see that for every product and service. There's always I wouldn't say there's always an adjustment, but you have to be ready for making adjustments. Each industry is a little different. Something that may be associated with e-commerce might move faster than somebody who is a foundry that makes metal parts for automobiles and motorcycles. So your sales cycle and knowing that makes a big difference. But at the end of the day, you need to be adjusting over time. That's what SEO literally is. It's not a set and forget it type activity. It's making adjustments over time because the technology behind it may be changing just enough to create new opportunities that you may want to take advantage of, and your products and services might change enough where you want to adjust your SEO to attract an audience for that. Think in terms of donuts and donut holes, and you'll get the basic idea.
Yes, that is 100% correct. That intentionality is big, and it helps all of us to make better decisions at a faster capacity and a faster rate. Because when we're able to use our time wisely and look for the right things and we find them, we're able to now do other things with the time that we have. So it's important to look at these things. And especially when you talked about analytics, it tells you exactly what people are doing. And that way you're able to double down on what is needed. And that way you can also, connect a lot with people. And when you now use this analytics to track the trends and track the keywords that we mentioned, having your website connected to Google Search Console, Google Analytics, for some Google Tag Manager. If you have a store or a service, you have a Google Business Profile. You go to Microsoft, you have Bing, you're able to have Bing Webmaster Tools. You're connecting your business. You have your Microsoft Clarity. You have your free tools that Google and Microsoft have given you that you can apply and put on your own site. Now you've created the plot. Now you've built the land. Now the next step is for you to decide, am I going to use this information to build, expand, scale, serve, exchange, trade, merge? How do you want to do it? That's going to be dependent on you. But the whole idea is to use these keywords that are intentionally being searched with on search engines to translate to trends that allow you to become the authority. And now you can drive and connect with people who need this information. And that way you're able to connect back with them. So I hope this helps and gives you some feedback and gives you some layers so that you can be able to use them. So thank you so much, Pierre, for that feedback. I wanted to make this quick guide quick so that you can use this quick guide and go back, learn, apply, and scale so that it's not something that's overbearing, but at the end of the day, it's something that you can take home and you can learn for yourself and try. And just give it a shot. Go to LinkedIn, go to these platforms, go to Google Trends, go to Answer the Public, start somewhere. Search for those things and see exactly how people are asking these questions. Take those questions, put them in the trends box, and now understand what trends are picking up the most. If you're in, let's say you're in January, okay, think about March, April. Anytime you think about the month you're in, think 2 to 3 months ahead of time. Because even with tech, it's 2 to 3 months ahead of time. Most times it's 3 months, but if it's faster, it could be 2 months or even 1 month. But the whole idea is to make sure that as you're creating content for the internet, where people frequently visit through websites, you can also show up on those platforms because you have information that they can see. So choose your platform of choice. There's so many. There's Threads, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there is Pinterest, there's Reddit, there's LinkedIn. There's so much out there you can choose from. But be intentional, right? And once you're intentional and you know what the keywords are and you know where people use these keywords on which platforms, then you're able to now know exactly where to frequently connect and build those structures with, because some topics make sense on some platforms and some don't on others. So you have to really know what works best for you and what works best for your community. So it's very important to think about this and also factor that in as well. Bianca, thank you for being here. Long time. Hope you're well. Thank you. I was just thinking about you the other day. I was like, wow, it's so good to see you both in here. So thank you for being here. Fran, thank you for being here too. Abundance Reporter, EEC. I hope I said it correctly. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And Daniel, you've been here since the jump. So thank you for being here as well. Ive, thank you for being here as well. And Pierre, thank you for joining me today on stage. Does anyone have any question before I go? Any question? Put in the chat. Pierre, if you have any question or last thoughts or comments, please let's hear it. We'd love to connect, and put in the chat if you guys have any questions too.
I'll share one last thought too. Also, this is because I know this is holiday time, and for some people, it's a time of rest and relaxation, fun with friends. That's definite. I always tell people that back in the background, for entrepreneurs, there's always a little bit of work you do in between, let's say Christmas and New Year's and that type of stuff. Spend a couple of days really looking at what your trends have been over the past year. What has been driving traffic to your site? What has been working for you? And again, guarantee you with SEO, each time that you iterate, there's always going to be something to do. A lot of times, business owners list out 10 things that are important to them in terms of keyword and intent, but there may be, you might achieve, let's say, 6 of those. And the other 4 may not be working for you as well. But there may be other opportunities for you to talk about intents and services, because maybe in the past year, you've made some changes to your products and services, as I mentioned. Use this time to really think about what you want to do, and definitely in terms of, intent and strategy, and really imagine, again, your customer base and what they are intending to do. I'll talk, and that's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much. That was valuable. Thank you, Pierre. Very important to note your analytics. Just go through your analytics and see where people connect with you the most, and it's going to help you best. And when you're able to see where visitors visit your website from, it's going to be important, because there are 2 places I would say, I would say 2 sections. One section is types and the other one is browsers. People use their desktops or their laptops, they use their phones, and they also use their tablets. And then you also know that people use browsers. It could be a Chrome browser, a Brave browser, a Safari browser, DuckDuckGo, Firefox, Edge, and now they're also ChatGPT and Perplexity browsers, right? There's Perplexity Comet and there's ChatGPT Atlas. So when you start looking at these browsers and types of devices people frequently search your content on, if you're able to know how they go to these sources, it's going to be a much better base for you. Like for us this year, I'm looking at the analytics through Fathom just to have a quick scope, and I see that there's a lot of traffic from the desktop and using Chrome. So I know that a lot of people who visit our website use Chrome browsers, and that allows me to also have a better communication with them. So if I send an email and say, here's how to use your Chrome browser better, guess what? You're getting this email by using a Chrome browser. So because you're using a Chrome browser, you have access to this email. And because you're on the Chrome browser and you see Chrome in the text, you're going to be connected to it because that's what you use psychologically. So it's marketing. But at the same time, it's making sense. And when you make sense and people can see the sense of what you're making, there's going to be sense, SENSE, and there's going to be sense, CENTS. So with that said, this has been Popular SEO Strategies for Beginners, quick guide. I hope you've learned something for your business. Take this information, rewind, connect with people, learn, and try something new today. And you'll be surprised and see how far you could go if you just decided to take a leap of faith. So thank you for listening to me. I hope you have a blessed Thursday, and I'll see you guys in the Clubhouse streets and also definitely in the next episode. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Now, that was an episode, right? Thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I'm so glad that you're here and you are sticking tight with us, especially to the very end. Now, this is season 11 and we're going to do it differently. And I want to make sure that every episode you listen to has something to give back so that you can also learn more after you listen. Now, We Don't Play podcast show is where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. So if you're in any of those positions out of those 4, please make sure that you reach out to me. Send out an email through info@playinc.online. That's info@playinc.online. Or you could go to playinc.online, which is a website, www.playinc.online, playinc.online, and schedule a call so that we can get you on an SEO discovery call to talk about your business and help you with your marketing needs. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this helped you. See you in the next episode. God bless you. Jesus loves you.